Hey, what do you get when you cross GPS with PMS?
A crazy woman who will find you.
That's right.
Okay, so a woman texts her husband on a very cold winter morning, and it says, "Windows frozen, won't open." So husband texts back, "Gently pour some lukewarm water over it." And 5 minutes later, the woman texts back again, "Okay, computer is really screwed up now." Oh, I love you.
Oh, is that you or the wine talking?
It's me talking to the wine.
Oh.
Dad, I just heard that in some countries a groom doesn't know the bride until after he's married.
Now, that's true in all countries, son.
Okay, so what is the recipe for honeymoon salad?
Lettuce alone without dressing.
Marriage is the process of finding out what kind of man your wife would have preferred.
Okay. So God gave men a penis and a brain. Just not enough blood supply to run both at the same time. I'm just saying.
I resemble that remark.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so men don't go through menopause because they're still in adolescence.
Makes sense.
Yeah, baby.
What?
CIA had an opening for a secret agent. Only 3 finalists, 2 men and a woman. Big test for dedication, total dedication. Go into a room with a gun and shoot your spouse. Well, the 2 men said, "Oh, no way, I can't possibly do that." The woman took the gun and went into the room. Shots were heard. There's one shot after another. Then there was screaming, and then there was crashing, and then banging on the walls. And she comes out a few minutes later, wipes the sweat off her brow, and says, "This gun is loaded with blanks. I had to beat him to death with a chair."
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Maybe.
Unforgivable.
That's why the CIA kept it secret.
Oh. So Ole came home carrying a rock and a chicken and a pail. And he asked Lena to open the door for him. And she said, "No, I'm afraid you might make love to me." And he said, "How could I make love to you with a rock, a chicken, and a pail in my arms?" Well, she said, "You could set the chicken down and put the pail over it and then set the rock on top of the pail."
Okay. So
Don't think about it. Don't think about it. It'll come to you.
So Lena had an affair with a man across the river named Clarence, and Ole went over to beat the guy up, and he saw a sign on the bridge, "Clarence is 13 feet 6 inches," and he changed his mind.
Yeah, well, anybody would.
Well, a robber ran into the bank waving a gun. Mask falls off. Teller sees him. The robber shoots the teller. Another man looks straight at the robber. The robber shoots him. The robber says, "Hey, anybody else see my face?" Ole looks down at the floor and says, "Yeah, well, my wife Lena got a pretty good look at you."
Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's terrible. So this German walks into a bar and orders a martini, and the bartender says, "Dry?" And the German says, "No, just one for now. It's just one. It's a bilingual pun there."
The barman says, "We don't serve time travelers in here." A time traveler walks into the bar.
Okay. So the past, the present, and the future walked into a bar. It was tense.
Right. Here's a joke for math majors. The rest of you just talk among yourselves. A mathematician walked into a bar and ordered root beer in a square glass. Oh, I love that joke. I don't understand it, but it's...
A germ walked into a bar and a bartender said, "We don't serve bacteria in this place." And the germ said, "But I work here. I'm staff."
Yeah, right.
Boom!
Oh.
So go ahead.
Why are there no English majors on the Starship Enterprise?
Give up.
Because they don't have jobs in the future either.
Oh,
so.
of course, yeah. An engineer gets home from work and sees a note on the fridge from his wife. "This isn't working. I'm at my mom's." He opens the fridge and the light goes on and it's working fine. What's the problem?
So the computer programmer's wife had a baby, and the doctor handed the baby to the father, and the wife said, "So, is it a boy or a girl?" And the programmer said, yes.
Well, here's one I don't get. The physicist, a mathematician, and an engineer were each asked to establish the volume of a red rubber ball.
Yes.
The physicist immersed the ball in a beaker full of water and measured the volume of the displaced fluid.
Good.
The mathematician measured the diameter and calculated a triple integral.
Good.
The engineer looked it up in his red rubber ball volume table. 14 engineers out there.
Right.
Okay, so how about this one? There are two types of people in the world. Those who can extrapolate from incomplete data.
Okay.
Santa Claus. Santa Claus went to a psychiatrist because he was afraid of going down chimneys. He was diagnosed with Santa Claustrophobia.
I see. How about the psychiatrist said to his patient, don't worry, you're not delusional, you only think you are.
Did you hear about the scientist whose wife had twins?
Yeah, he baptized one and kept the other as a control.
Baptism, that reminds me, this is my favorite subject for jokes. Church. 4 clergymen, they went on a hunting trip together, and they were in the hunting shack the night before they went hunting, and they decided to confess their worst sins to each other. And the Catholic priest said, my sin is lust, and I have these dirty magazines in a drawer back in the rectory, and every so often I look at them. And the Episcopal priest said, my sin is greed. I never put more than a quarter in the collection plate. And the Lutheran pastor said, my sin is gluttony. And every so often I get in my car and I drive to some faraway town up to a drive-through window and I order 4 quarter-pounders with cheese and an enormous bucket of fries, and I go sit in a dark place and I eat it all. And the Baptist minister said, my sin is gossip and I can't wait to get back from this trip.
So, a man was driving down the street all upset. You know, he was late for a very important meeting. Couldn't find a parking place, so he had to go to prayer. Lord, if you give me a parking place, I will go to church every Sunday. And just then, a place appeared just ahead. And the guy says, never mind, Lord, I just found one. No problem.
What car would Jesus drive?
Chrysler.
Yes, exactly.
Tell the one about St. Peter and the gates of heaven.
Okay, so St. Peter's at the pearly gates of heaven greeting newcomers when a group of people from Detroit arrive. Now, St. Peter has never seen anyone from Detroit before at the pearly gates, so he goes to ask God what to do, and God tells him, well, go, let them in. So a few minutes later, St. Peter returns, and he tells God, they're gone. And God says, who? The people from Detroit? And St. Peter says, no, the pearly gates.
Oh, that's terrible. So there was a baptism at church, and the little girl rode back in the car with her baby brother who had been baptized, and she was sobbing in the back seat. Her dad said, what's wrong? She said, the priest said he wanted us kids brought up in a Christian home, but I want to stay with you guys. The fire department had this ecumenical blessing of the new fire truck, and the Catholic priest sprinkled some holy water on it, and the Baptists laid hands on it and prayed, and the rabbi cut a 1/4 inch off the end of the hose.
Did you hear about the New Age Catholic Church? They've got an organic communion wafer called I Can't Believe It's Not Jesus.
Yes, right.